Joe Torre is Executive Vice President for Baseball Operations in the Major League office in New York City. But what does this guy really do? Hey everybody, it's Paulie. Welcome back to This Week in Red, where we're talking all things Red Sox and Major League Baseball. So I have to say a word here about Joe Torre, the Dean of Discipline in the Major League office, Executive Vice President for Baseball Operations. What does that exactly mean? Listen, I don't know what the clinical term is in the league office and what he actually does, but from what I understand, he is supposed to handle the umpiring situation in baseball. He's supposed to hand out suspensions for players and so forth. And apparently he's got a third job description, which is the uniform police. Because back on 9/11, the Mets requested during their game with the Cubs at Citi Field that they be allowed to wear, as part of their uniform, FDNY and NYPD caps to honor the first responders and victims of September 11th. Now you would think that this would be a no-brainer for baseball, that they would just say to the Mets, hey, no problem, go ahead and do it. Well, apparently they told the Mets that that wasn't part of the uniform code in baseball and that Torre was the guy that sent this message out. Now listen, there's been a lot of innuendo back and forth since this occurred on September 11th as to what really went on. Was there a memo issued by the Major League office or wasn't there a memo? The bottom line is Torre spoke about it and he said that, well, we didn't really officially tell the Mets that they couldn't, wear these as part of the uniform, but we wanted to keep things uniform throughout baseball and keep, the players on the field in a quote-unquote uniform state. The fact that we're even talking about this is absolutely ridiculous. Baseball just doesn't get it. The NFL, they allowed the Dallas Cowboys to come into New York, wear FDNY and NYPD caps in their game against the Jets. You saw the New York Giants down in Washington to play the Redskins wearing the same type of caps. You saw guys with red, white, and blue shoes. You saw guys with stars and striped gloves. Yeah, the NFL, which is known as the No Fun League, they have a strict uniform policy, which is just as ridiculous as baseball's is. But you know what? For a thing like 9/11, they said, hey, we're going to lay off for a day. If you guys want to, do your different tributes and so forth, go ahead and do that. And that's what baseball should have done. And that's what Joe Torre should have done. And I'm attacking Joe Torre because I got to tell you right now, to me, I don't know what the guy's role is in reality in the league office, but he's done nothing. He's in charge of umpiring. It's as bad as it's been. We've touched on this before here at This Week in Red. Umpiring is probably as bad as it's been in the last 20 years. There's no accountability. Torre makes public excuses for the umpires. And now this mess with the uniform situation with the Mets. You know what? They should have just said nothing to the Mets and just let them go about their business and then worry about uniforms the other 161 games of the year. There was no place for baseball to intervene with the Mets in this situation. And to me, Torre's responsible for that. If he's the guy that's going to hand out discipline and he's going to fine teams and so forth, this was his call and he made the wrong call. And Joe, if you're out there listening, you got to do a better job because your umpiring's terrible and you can't tell the Mets on 9/11 that they can't wear caps honoring first responders and victims. But what do you guys think? You think that Torre's just resting on his laurels and coasting on his 4 World Series championships with some cush job in the league office? Or am I being unfair? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends about This Week in Red.